Hi everyone, good morning. I thought I'd start with my John Maxwell today. So what I do when my routine in the morning is, before I do this, I check my emails. I check if I have anything scheduled in my calendar, because sometimes I do have interviews scheduled or I have appointments that I need to go to, whether it's for my doctor or anything like that. I put them in my calendar now because it makes it a lot easier. When you are in the West, you have a lot of supports that people in Africa don't have. And I'm very grateful to my uncles. You know, they went through such a hard time when they came to America. They had discrimination. They couldn't rent in certain places like me. And, you know, they didn't have to deal with the hardship I had to deal with, but they don't see it that way. They think I'm ungrateful for what they did for me, particularly my godfather, and he always reminds me of that. And when I try to explain to people that, look, you had it easier because you lived in a first world country, they disagree. So that's why I push back now, because they didn't have to wash their clothes by hand. They didn't have to live with rat-infested houses. They didn't have to have snakes all around the house and be careful of that. They didn't have to live with empty shelves, but they don't see it that way. They think that I've got psychological problems and that there's nothing wrong with them. I've tried to explain to them, I've tried to help them, and I've tried to be there for them, but they're very hard on me. So I distance myself from them now, because it's the only way I can get to live my life on my terms. Because the way they look at it is that I'm an ungrateful person. I don't appreciate what they went through. They were all alone in America. They didn't have anybody with them. I didn't look at my life that way. The hardest part for me was when I left and I went to Bulawayo. After that, I adjusted. And the first few days at university, I'm so used to being on my own, it doesn't hurt me. So when they send me emails and they call me and say, oh, we're getting together for Easter, we're having such a nice time, I'm like, good for you. That's nice. I like being at home. I like being by myself. I like enjoying my own company. I like going to the church, coming home after Mass. So I don't interfere with anyone. And it's the same thing with the managers that I worked with. Now, Teleperformance is having all this bad public exposure. It's good for Susan Bowman. She was the one that sent me that final written warning. The customer was screaming at me, so I raised my voice back. So she sent me a final written warning to say that if I ever do it again, they're going to terminate me without any pay. I was like, you know what? You people treat me like I'm an animal. My supervisors were also upset. I said, for that, they gave me a final written warning. He's like, Belinda, I'm going to try to find you something else internally. I said, you know what? This is slavery. This is slavery because you can't even go to the washroom, because if you're sitting on a call and you need to go pee or you need to go use the toilet to crap, you can't even put yourself on hold and go. Then afterwards they changed it. It's good for them. It's good for Teleperformance because now it's coming from Europe as well. People are pushing back. People are forming unions. It's good. Because when I talk to my family, when I talk to my mother and my uncles and everybody else and tell them what's happening to me, they don't want to believe me. They think I'm the problem. So it's good. I'm saying it's good because when it happens to me, I don't get any support from the family. They say you need psychiatric help. You are the problem. You are delusional. Did they ever think that maybe they need to go and get psychiatric help? Then maybe I'm right. There's no respect for me as a spiritual director, for the office I hold in the church, for what I've done to help my mother. There's no respect. Nothing. All they do is they wait for the perfect opportunity to come down on me. That's what they do. It's not support when Susan Bowman sends me a final written warning and I've made things better for the company. It's good for these big clients because that guy that started Google, they're saying he was an asshole, that he was horrible to his workers. It's the same thing with Bill Gates. There were so many newspapers, so much news that came out about how he used to abuse the workers. They make millions, but they can't treat people with any dignity and any respect. The same thing happened to me at Credit Suisse. And instead of the family supporting me and telling the officers, no, you know what, she doesn't need to go and get psychiatric care, she doesn't need to go and get mental help, they supported that. They supported what the police wanted. They didn't stand up to the police and say, you know what, officer, leave it. Maybe they're not confirming it, but we don't think that this is true. We know Belinda and we know she's got a good head on her shoulders. They have nasty things to say about me. And they tell me to my face. They don't put themselves in my shoes. They don't see how much it hurt me that they told me that they made the arrangements to go and take my dad for his operation. They don't do that. So the police should look at it from my point of view now. They are the ones that need the psychiatric help, not me. They are the ones who are having the mental health problems. It was the same thing at TD with Desgagne. All their family problems, all the fighting, everything that was going on, why didn't they go and get psychiatric help? Why do they keep coming after me in all the companies I work at? Instead of doing that, why don't they go? Why don't they go to the Spiritual Directors International and look on there and see who they can contact? Or why don't they go to the hospital and say, you know what, we have a problem with how we are looking at this and we need help? Because to them, they are perfect. They worked hard. They deserve all the blessings. God has been good to them, and I don't deserve it. That's how they look at it. My cousins were not the only ones that were alone in America. There are millions of families that go alone and they start up and they come up in life. Millions. Even in Zimbabwe, all the people that were around us, they were not immediate family. But because I was there, you can go and ask anyone in Zimbabwe in Kwekwe. Because I was there, things got better. The same with my grandfather. They missed me when I wasn't in Kwekwe. When I went back after my secretarial course, all the community was happy. Mrs. Harry said to me, what happened to you? I said to her, my mother took me and left me there. She said, why didn't you phone uncle? Why didn't you phone your uncle and tell him you could have come and stayed here with us? I said, I tried to talk to Auntie Harry. I told her, I said, I tried to talk to Auntie Rukmani. She would just scream at me and put the phone down. She said, that's what she does. I said, yeah. So, this is not the first time the family has done this to me. It's not the first time. So now I stay away. Even my sister, do you think, has she come here to visit me? Even once, she's got such a lovely sister. Has she come here? Has she spent any time with me? Has she come to see my home, to see the amenities? She hasn't come. Not even once. So I'm not the problem in this. And my brother's not the problem in this. It's them. It's them. They need to go and get the help that they need and stop feeling sorry for themselves, because you know what? Maybe it was tough. Maybe they did have to go to work at 2 a.m. So did I. Not only in Africa, but here in Canada too. They feel sorry for themselves. That's what it is. But they had washing machines, they had dryers, they had all the amenities, they had cars. I didn't have any of that, but still, they have no compassion for me. Nothing. None. And then they want to say I'm the problem. I'm not. It's good for Teleperformance. I'm glad that the company in Ireland formed a union. And I'm glad that the news is coming out, because here in Canada, they like to make things look good. In Europe, they don't. They fix the problems. And America also. It's good they got caught, because they can't give me back my health. They can't. Why did the family go and report me to the police without talking about me? Talking to me? All their friends and everything. It's not right. It's good. It's coming out now because I deserve to have a good paid job. I deserve to use my credentials in the church. I put in a lot of work to get that master's. I put in a lot of work to train myself to get my piano skills up to date. Nobody was here with me. They can't even be bothered to come and spend a day with me. I stopped crossing oceans and taking the bus to go to America and doing all those things because they don't bother to come here. The little money that they send me, I'm very grateful for. But if they had spoken well of me, if they had told people that I was good, that I stayed with my mother just like my brother, that I sacrificed, that I worked hard, things would be very different today. Very, very different. That I took the opportunities that were available to go work on the camp in America, to try different things in England, that I helped the Jesuits. Things would be very different. But they didn't. I never hid my relationship with Father Damien Howard. I didn't hide anything from anybody. Or Peter Knox. My mother met them. My mother met Father Peter and she met Graham and all of them when she came for my graduation. I don't have anything to hide and I'm a very normal person. The problem is with the executive in this country. They should have sent Bharat Masrani to have a psychiatric assessment, and Jean Desgagne and Teresa Bowman and Susan Bowman. They should send all of them to go and get psychiatric assessments. Because now everything, all the bad they did to me and to all their workers, now they're paying millions. And those millions are not even enough because you can't give us back our health. You can't give me back my health, can you? I was very supportive of Jean when I worked there. Once I left, I didn't want anything to do with him. And I still don't want anything to do with him. He didn't do anything for me. Neither did Teresa, neither did any of those executives I worked with. They didn't give me a penny towards my studies, or help me, or give me any special time off so I could go and do my courses and things. Nothing. I got no special treatment, nothing. Not even for a birthday or a Christmas or anything. I got nothing. And then they're telling me, oh yeah, you miss your dad and your grandparents. Yeah, I do. Because they made me feel special. Why should I hide it? For what? For who? For who should I hide it? To make them feel good? No, I don't hide it. I don't hide it. It's good. I'm happy to see that the news came out. It's sad because I tried when I was there. I tried with Mohammed Shafi to change things. I tried with the clients. I tried with the supervisors. Oh no, this is the policy. Good, now your policies are coming to bite you in the ass because you don't care about people. You don't care about your workers. Since when does a company have a right to monitor you like this and to monitor who's visiting you? I would rather live in my own place than have the company monitor who's coming to visit me and who's staying with me and all that. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. If I want to go and stay with Damien Howard for a week in England, what's it got to do with anyone? I did it with Graham Fusion. I went and I stayed with him so many times at Oxford. Oh no, she's got relationships with some of our most prestigious priests, so we need to monitor her. Go to hell. Go to hell. Mind your own business. Just the way you tell me mind my own business, you mind your own business. Don't get involved in what I'm doing. You can't be happy for me, then stay out of it. Those are my friends. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. I'm tired of it. They always want to criticize the Bible, criticize what Jesus did. Are you better than Jesus? Do you know better than God? You want to say the resurrection didn't take place. Do you know? Did you live in that time to know that the resurrection didn't take place? So basically people fabricated stories and they wrote them down and they passed them down through generations to believe a lie, right? That's what they did, because they wanted people to believe in magic. You can go to hell. God is punishing this world so much, and you still won't change. You people need to wake up. You need to wake up. Really and truly you do. You do. Because people that go to church don't go to church for the sake of it. The resurrection has been proven scientifically, but you still won't believe it. You still won't. Because you like to live in your little bubble and think that you're better than everybody else. And then say, oh, the Lord has been so good to me. So if he's been so good to you, why don't you get off your high horse and help other people? Why are you prepared to sit back and watch me without food, without being able to pay my rent, without being able to meet basic necessities? And then on top of that, accuse me of being the source of all my mother's problems. I could have left her long ago. I could have left her and gone and lived in Harare, but I stayed with her. My sister had a much better quality of life here than we did. She had her washing machine, her dryer, she had all the gadgets to do her cleaning. She didn't have to sweep that big house like I did, or polish the floors, or wash the clothes. But no, everybody comes down on me because it makes them feel better. You people better stop taking your frustrations out on me and saying I have the mental health problems because I don't. It's you people. You people need to look at your own policies, your own lives, what you've done. You need to examine your conscience. They get fined millions and they still don't change. It's an awful way to treat people, including me. It's an awful way. You don't want other people to have what you have. Why not? Why don't you want me to own my own place and my own car and travel just like you? Why don't you want me to have holidays with the family? Why don't you want me to come on trips to Hawaii and to Las Vegas and everywhere else? Why? You only want me to be there for my mother, right? And think of her and be there for her when she needs me. But who is there for me? Who? People need to wake up. You need to wake up. Because I'm also tired of it. And that's what the reflection was about today. Read, then lead. Not read and then do nothing. That's what it's about. I'm glad all those newspaper reports came out. I left it. The first one, I left it for 3 months. Now all the fines and everything are starting. That report should never have been accepted by the police saying I'm delusional. If I'm delusional, why are the banks being fined? If I'm delusional, why is Credit Suisse, why did they do that? Why did they fine them? And why did TD get fined? TD should lose its license in America. If I'm the problem, how did I manage to sponsor my mother, even after all the problems that the family gave me and that the banks gave me? I forgave her. I went back. I visited her. I was there for her and her husband. But they want my sister's support, so they take it out on me. Then when they get her support, then they don't want anything to do with me. I'm also tired of it. I'm also a human being. I deserve better from the companies that I've worked for, and I deserve better from my family. I deserve better. I also want those top paid jobs. I also want a position in the church. I also want them to see that I'm saying the exact same things that Cardinal Cherney is saying, and that Pope Francis said, and that our new Pope is saying, Pope Leo. I'm saying the exact same things. But instead of giving me that respect, as a spiritual director, nobody's there for me when I need them. And it's not right.